to I Got My Miracle. And it's Saturday at Rythmia. We've completed a week, and I'm here with Marina and Harold. And I can't wait to share with you guys, with you ladies and gentlemen, all of you beautiful souls out there, what happened this week. And the cool thing is, it happens every week at Rythmia. It's unique. Each week is so different, but each week has some of the very similar constituent parts. And I'm so grateful to kind of share this with you. So let's talk. First of all, I want to introduce you to Marina and Harold. Hey, you guys.
How's it going?
So happy you're here. Thank you.
We're thrilled to be here.
We're so happy.
Calm down, you guys. Get those smiles up. Wipe those smiles off your
So
face.
happy.
Tell me, okay, first of all, tell me where you're from, a little bit about you and what you do in life.
Absolutely. So I am originally from South Africa. So quite a far journey to get here. I live in Abu Dhabi in the UAE. So to get here was about 27 hours, which is absolutely worth it. Every single hour that I spent on a plane was just absolutely worth it. So I've been in the UAE for about 6 years now. Okay. I work in sales for Marriott hotels. So I have about 4 hotels that I'm handling. It's quite a tough job, but it's all right. It's getting me through my days, and it's, it is what it is. But yeah, that's
thank you.
Yeah.
And I think that as you go back and
right,
people will hear what transformed for you.
Yeah.
But you will see that it doesn't really matter what you're doing, but that you can bring a new joy to the everyday tasks of life. And it's not so much transforming all, life, but the transformation of life is that we see the beauty of everything and bring our joy to it. So I know that from just seeing you this week, I know you're going to be bringing a new joy to everything you do.
I was very fearful going back to the toxic environment of my job, feeling this amazing, going back to that kind of life is a bit tough. But after today, for some reason, I just feel relieved. I don't feel scared. I feel really excited. I feel like I'm going to bring a new kind of energy to that. And yeah, it's less of a fear for me now going back.
I want to offer something for you.
Sure.
The spiritual practices that we talked about in class.
Yeah.
And that's another one of the things that Rythmia offers that I think is so unique is the classes, right?
It's amazing.
Those spiritual practices will help to repressurize you, right? Because you're going into environments that might not be, like this little bubble of love and, oh my God, transformation, and everybody's like, I love you.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go into the world and it's like, oh my God, people live like this.
Right.
So one little piece that I would offer for you is that the spiritual practices that you have now embodied and that you can take with you will help repressurize you. So you go in, it's like a submarine going down into deep waters, right? The pressure gets, it has to pressurize itself. Otherwise it's going to get collapsed. So you're going to go into these environments. We all do, right? And we have to use our spiritual practices to sort of repressurize ourselves so we can go out and bring the atmosphere with us. And then with that practice, that spiritual practice, you'll be connected. You are connected. You'll receive the insights that you need to take inspired action if there's another path for you. That's if there is, and there might not be, right?
And that's funny that you mentioned that, because like the whole week, it was mentioned that we will find our miracle during ceremonies, but also outside of ceremonies. And one thing that happened to me today was during a massage, I was able to get a revelation that I'm supposed to leave the UAE. I'm not going to act on it too rationally. I'm going to think about it, process it. But it came during a massage, which was just incredible. So I'm excited to go back and figure that out.
And to forget figuring it out. Keep your connection and your inspiration. You'll receive insights from that connection, from your practice. And then you'll receive insights just like that. The more that you do, the more you'll be able to trust those insights and then surrender to, okay, this is a big leap, but I'm really trusting because I've received this. It's coming out of inspiration, not out of fear or doubt or lack or worry. So thank you, Marina. I got more
Thank
questions
you.
for you.
Of course.
But let me ask Harold.
Yeah.
Tell me about you. Like,
So I'm originally from Los Angeles.
Okay.
In the current lifetime.
okay.
We'll talk more about that later. No, I grew up there. Fortunate enough to see the world along the way, and it didn't take me 27 hours to get here. It took me 40 years to get here to this moment, and I've gone through a lot of special days here, and I've had miracle after miracle, and in looking at a butterfly and sitting through ayahuasca and in long hour conversations with Marina and in class. So there's a new opening that I've had to this life, and I just feel a lot of love for myself as well. To be the ultimate miracle is this self-love, that unconditional self-love that I'm super excited about.
So you had a week, because you had a week where you said you were afraid a lot in life.
Yes.
And you saw, so we kind of jumped right to the miracle. But
Yeah.
wait, before we get to the miracle,
Yeah.
I want to know, like, so what do you do, and,
Okay.
and how did you guys meet?
Yeah.
All right. So I work for a technology company called Cali Slater Wave Company.
Oh,
And he's on the board as
Yeah.
well, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
So Cali Slater's on the board,
Yeah.
but yeah, we design wave systems for surfing, and I've been in that for almost 12 years now. I don't know what the job title is, but
Cool
Yeah,
is the job title.
It's a cool job. It's awesome. I have a really great work family, and work in a great environment, obviously with a lot of pressure. And funny enough, Marina and I met through that. I was building a project in Abu Dhabi, so I have been living in Abu Dhabi off and on for the last 3 years. And yeah,
And I was actually his account manager for the hotel that I'm working
Yeah.
at. So
Oh, wow.
he came to the hotel and he needed corporate rights. So he reached out to the reception, and they reached out to me, and then I was able to meet him, and it was an immediate connection.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's long distance relationship because you live in LA.
Yeah,
Right.
I just moved back to LA a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and we came out here and we spent a nice week in Costa Rica
Yeah.
before jumping into this, but really preparing together and making sure we're holding each other accountable to the
Yeah.
dieta,
Yeah.
yoga in the mornings,
And that made a huge
conversations.
difference. It made a huge difference in his
Beautiful.
experience.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay. So great how you guys met. So
Yeah.
it's been a couple years that you've been seeing each other.
Almost two
Yeah.
years.
Wow.
Close to, yeah, it's been a while.
And then how did you decide, like, okay, let's go to Rythmia? What called you to Rythmia?
That's
We don't even know.
we don't know.
how to
Like
answer that.
so a couple of years ago, I started doing intensive research on ayahuasca. I knew this is something that I needed to do to fix myself and my trauma. And we decided we're going to go on vacation a couple of months ago, and we were kind of thinking about where should we go. I don't know how ayahuasca came up in the conversation. We spoke about it, and he was like, I know a great place. I saw this place on Instagram, Rythmia. He sent it to me. We looked into it, and funny enough, the week that we were planning to come, I was supposed to have my moon cycle. So we ended up pushing it a week later, and we didn't even know that Taito was going to be here that week. And it just all worked out. We actually only found out about Taito the day before he came, and it just perfectly worked out. It was meant to be.
And this is one of the reasons. Sorry to interrupt. This is one of the reasons why I say it's taken me 40 years to get here. It's because we don't know how we got here. The important thing is that we're here and we're doing the work, and it's.
But you were like called to ayahuasca, like something for years. You've been
Yeah.
researching it,
Yeah.
and then you were thinking about a vacation,
Right.
and you were like, kind of like, well, she
Yeah.
wants to do this. Did you know anything about ayahuasca before?
A little bit, but we talked about it coincidentally. It wasn't even so much like, oh, you want to go do ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Let's go do it. It was like,
I
hey,
don't know how the conversation came up. It was
very
almost
random.
random.
It was like a spiritual agreement that we should.
Okay, when you got here, were you like, what did I just say yes
Yeah.
to?
Oh,
What the
absolutely.
fuck?
Yeah, 'cause
Absolutely. The week before we got here, because we spent the week before that in Costa Rica, and I was struggling a little bit with the dieta. But at first I was like, oh, why are we doing this? Like, I want my margarita at the
Right.
pool, you know?
What?
Not a
It was-
vacation without the margarita.
It was so difficult, but after like 2 days of following the dieta, it was so easy. I just knew that we're doing the right thing. And when we got to Rythmia, it was at first, it was a bit like, oh my gosh, like we did not expect, this. So yeah, it was a bit of
Okay, so you got here.
unexpected.
Did the going into take a quick second also to
Yeah.
tell folks about Marina mentioned Taita. Taita Juanito is one of our lead indigenous shaman who trains our whole team, and he comes, about half the year he's here on different weeks, and it's always amazing when he's here. It's very special. It's amazing when he's not here because we have amazing shaman Mitra, who is here on Thursdays, and many of you who are listening will know Mitra. But it was just something really special as well for you guys to have Taita. So that's what they meant by Taita. You're like, what is this Taita? Okay, so then you're going into, you've had some ceremonies, but let's jump to your miracle. And when we say miracle here, we mean that you've seen who you've become, and meaning you've seen that there was an experience in your life that caused you to have a belief about life that became your sort of premise or the law of your life. And then we start living according to this belief that we had based on an experience. You get to kind of see the experience that had this belief about the way you think the world is. And you get to unhook from that and merge back to your soul. So see who you've become, merge with your soul, and heal your heart. And when people do that, we call that a miracle. So we have a very specific idea of what a miracle is. Or it could be a shift in perception, which is like, before I came, I thought the world was this way. And I think that's kind of what you had.
Yeah.
It was like a real shift in perception.
Yes.
So let's talk. Let's start with you, Harold. Tell me about your miracle.
Yeah. So for me, the first day when we went through the ceremony, what I discovered is the show me who I am is I'm afraid. I live life overthinking, making decisions out of fear, and just really holding on to that fear super tightly. So in the first ceremony, what I was able to do is I had a bit of an image of me being born afraid. I saw this. I came out of the womb crying, and I didn't want this fear to be inside me. And as the ceremony progressed, I was able to just let go of that fear, and I came out of it feeling like love was my healing power, that I was a warrior of love.
Yeah.
And the fear also showed me that there was a lot of ancestral trauma as well, and it set the tone for this deep-rooted connection I have to this place, not just as a physical space, but I'm Central American by origin. My parents are from El Salvador. I'm here in Costa Rica, so I feel that the spirit of my ancestors are close by here.
Yeah.
I feel that this was the land. I pounded the land. I danced with my ancestors. It was beautiful.
Wow.
But that was the first miracle, and there was many miracles along the way.
When we were talking earlier, you said something that was really beautiful. You said there was a lot of ancestral trauma, but there was also a lot of ancestral love.
Yes.
Which I thought was brilliant.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So we saw a lot of things when we were under the influence of the medicine, but I just saw the pain of the ancestors, the sacrifices that they made, all of the rape, the killing, the fear. The fear was in them, but they also planted these seeds of love that they were able to pass on very, very lightly, with almost their last breath. It's like, my last breath goes to you as love. And what I felt I was able to do that in the first miracle was not just heal myself, but I was then able to look back in gratitude and say, I can heal you too now. So I'm the first of this lineage that can look back and heal that past.
Yeah.
Right. And
beautiful.
Yeah. So
beautiful. You said there was another miracle.
Yeah.
It's the first of many, but what was another highlight for you, or shift in perception?
The other highlight was this on Thursday. So the last ceremony was, I also haven't had a good self-image of myself. I find myself to be very imperfect, and maybe that ties into this idea of fear. So it's the miracle gets deeper, maybe, or it's a different miracle, but I see the interconnectedness.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just this realization that I'm imperfect. That's perfect, and I can love myself in all of the within all of that imperfection. And what that allows me to do is bring an authentic self to my relationships, to my friendships, and just be honest with myself. I can be authentic with myself, which is the most important relationship. And
Let me ask you, that idea that I can be perfectly imperfect, is that something you'd heard before? Is that something you were aware of before?
It seems obvious that I should have been aware of that, but it's not something that I knew how to bathe in.
That was what I was getting at, is like, so frequently there are these kind of cliche almost statements, but when we have a profound realization of it within us, it's like, oh my God, that's so true. But now it's like embodied instead of just an analytical or intellectual. That's why I was asking, like, intellectually, I always knew that, but you have had like a visceral experience of, oh my God, I'm not perfect and it's okay. Somehow something deeply shifted within you around that.
And it also not only shifts my perception about myself, but those who I love and are around me, right? So I was able to have more empathy and forgiveness towards my father, right?
Yeah.
And in my experience, I saw that he felt the same way, and he passed his trauma onto us. And then when I say us, is I saw my brother feel the same way. So there was a lot of healing on Thursday for my father, and he's not here, right? He's back in LA. He doesn't know what I'm doing, and I saw a lot of healing for my brother as well. Because I was able to come to this realization, I feel like I can help them see that, we're perfectly imperfect, and that's okay.
And just you accepting them as they are.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But just be a brother and a son.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very important.
That's thank you, brother.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And there's more, but I want to jump in and hear Marina. Tell me about what was the miracle for you.
Yeah. So for me, my whole life, I've just been abused since I was 3 years old. My very first memory was when I was 3, and my mom had a huge fight, and my dad slapped my mom through the face, and there was a lot of aggression within my household. I lived with my dad. I was forced to live with my dad because my mom abandoned me from a very young age. And within that, for years, I was just physically, mentally, and emotionally just abused by my father. And it was very hard. I have a lot of resentment towards him, towards what he's done to me. And I feel like everything that I've gone through in my life has created who I am today, which is somebody that is extremely sad and almost miserable my whole life. I feel like I have to push people out of my life before they can hurt me. And I have this sense of
Okay, I'm going to just correct you,
Sure.
up till now, right?
Up until
this moment, then the past. Don't
week.
claim it in the future.
No.
And I used to have this
You're
habit
right.
of doing
You're
it because
right.
now you don't have that.
I don't. It's a huge shift that I feel now. I feel like I just want people closer to me. And so I used to just push people out of my life because I was afraid that they would hurt me. And at the same time, I had this fear of abandonment. I didn't want people to leave me, but I push them because that's the only thing I know to do. So going through a lot in my life, I have suppressed a lot of memories. I've suppressed a lot of anger and hurt within myself, within my body.
Mm-hmm.
So coming into this week, the first ceremony, actually, let's start with the first breath work, which was also really incredible. I started having the sensations in my hands and my legs, and everything was just vibrating. From that moment, I knew I had so much energy within myself. So the first ceremony, not much happened. I had really beautiful visions and sacred geometry, and it was incredible. I didn't even know I was capable of having that. The second night, also not much was happening to me, but at the end of the night I was paralyzed from the neck down. I know it sounds scary. It's not scary. Believe me, it's beautiful, especially if you know that there is light at the end of that. I was paralyzed from the neck down, and it was kind of like Mama Aya was paralyzing me to lay me still so that she can work on my body, on the pain that I've been storing in my body. And then the third night, I also had really beautiful visions, and I was able to see beautiful things. There was a time where she was redirecting me to look at my heart, and there was this like warmth around my heart, and there was this red crystals with this light coming out of my heart, and she showed me that she's healing my heart. And so I felt like my heart was starting to heal. I was able to, at that point, I knew exactly who I've become. I was able to also find my split within the first class with you, which was incredible. And it just put everything together. I went back to a memory when I was really young and I was abandoned. And so that was where my split started. So I had all of that. At that point, I've had who I've become. I didn't have the other two yet. However, on Thursday, I had the craziest experience. I just felt so much pain. I was crying and I was screaming, and I had so much pain that was inside of me. And while I was going through it, even though it was so painful, it was so beautiful. I just kept telling myself, you're healing, you're healing, you're healing all the pain that you've been storing in your body. And it was just the most incredible feeling I've ever had in my entire life. And I came out of Thursday. Right after that, I had the most beautiful experience. I was in heaven, and it was incredible. The medicine showed me that my life starting from here will just be heaven. It will just be beautiful. It will just be rainbows and waterfalls. And that's what I kept seeing. And so Thursday, I thought I received my full miracle, which I was pretty sure my heart was almost healed, but there was still a little bit left. So in the last breath work last night, or the second last breath work, I went through the best experience. I was able to find that little girl, and I was able to look her in the eyes, and she just looked up at me, and she had these tears in her eyes, and I was able to hold her and kiss her on her forehead, and I told her everything is going to be okay and you're never going to get hurt ever again. And I was able to merge and heal my heart at the same time. And I feel this absolute weight lifted off of my heart. I have never felt this light in my entire life. And now I used to have severe anxiety all the time. So if I'm just having a conversation, I'll clench my jaw because I'm having like severe anxiety, and every moment of my life, it's gone. I don't have any of that anymore. It's completely gone, and it's beautiful. I'm so grateful.
So beautiful. There's some things that I want to comment about your experience. First of all, Marina talked about the split, which is one of our foundational teachings here, and it's a common psychological idea of dissociation, that something happens. It's what I referred to earlier. We have an experience as a child. I know, like it sounds cheesy, right? Every psychologist goes, and tell me about your mother.
Yeah.
And tell me about your,
You said we only have 15 minutes. Right?
I know, right?
No.
Exactly. But it's true, right? Like something happened to all of us, and it doesn't matter whether it was severely what we would consider trauma,
right,
or whether it was something simple like I didn't get picked for kickball.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because it's the story we tell ourselves as children. So we have this experience, and somehow as a kid, that becomes the law of our life. For Harold, it was fear, right? For me, it was I'm not safe.
Yeah.
I'm scared, right? It was also fear, but it was like scared that I'm not safe, and those things get ingrained within us. So as you shared, you saw your split, the abandonment, right? Having to wait for your mom. Yeah. And you had experienced a lot of pain and suffering in childhood, but it was that experience that you saw as like a seminal moment. Right. So that's what we mean by the split is something happens, and then we never want to feel that way again. And so we become something else.
Mhm.
All the ways that we think we need to get our needs met. For me, it was controlling and giving to get, and being a perfectionist and not having any boundaries. And those are things that a lot of people pleasing. Those are all things that we all do to try and get our needs met. And we all have some thing that happened, right? So that's what she was referring to when she said the split. The next thing I want to share with you is, I want to ask you, do you feel that it was necessary to go through all that pain again in order to heal it?
Yes, absolutely. 1000%.
Right.
1000%. And while I was going through that pain on the last night, I was obviously very scared, but the classes are very well structured that we are prepared for what we're going to receive and what we're going to go through. And I just kept saying, what's coming is going, and there's going to be beauty at the end of this. And while I was going through the severe pain, there was just years of memories of abuse just flooding through me, and it was kind of like flooding from the top of my head through to my feet, just going away. And whenever I thought, okay, it's gone, it comes back. And it was every single I had to purge, or I know you're gonna explain that, but I had to like get rid of every single pain and trauma I'd had to go through in my life.
To heal it, right? It has to come up because we've been suppressing it for so long.
You have to sit and acknowledge it in order to heal it.
And you can feel it. You can feel when it's gone. You can feel when your heart is healed. Like I did not think that I was going to be able to actually feel it. My heart feels like it's finally empty again to be able to receive.
Yes, we have to. It's so beautiful. We have to empty our cup in order to be filled again, and empty out all the crap.
Exactly.
All of the story, all the pain, all the suffering, all the shame, all the blame, all the guilt, all the not enoughness, all the doubt, all the fear, all the worry.
Yeah.
So good, so good. Okay, so wow, we had a longer interview. Sorry, guys.
No, please. I can sit here all day.
I know, right? It's really great. So any last things that you want to share? A highlight, something about the resort, something that you want to share, or something you would tell somebody who was similar to you and was thinking about coming to Rythmia? Any of the above?
I think Rythmia is just it's a great space. It's a great friend. It's a great love. Rythmia is, to me, it's more than a physical space. And what we also took away from this was a great community of friends that shared in that same experience, and that also helped with the healing process. And one of the things that I learned here is to ask for help. And I think the first step was coming here, and that was a call. That was a cry for help, right? And in some ways, I feel like we had a nice little vacation going into it, but we crawled here on all fours with our hearts heavy to get here. And this is a place that really helped us as all these things, as love and as a friend. And I'm so appreciative of that. And nothing more than to encourage others to ask for that help, and know that when you're here, you also get the help in the class. You're in between breakfast, the meetings, you're in the pool, you're crying, you're having a massage, you're in
having an insight.
So it's just Rythmia is an amazing friend that helps you along the journey.
That's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you, brother. Marina, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, so I just wanted to add as well to what he mentioned. For me, it was the energy of this place. It is just the most incredible thing I've ever witnessed in my life. I am very receptive of energy. So the entire time, you just feel this beauty. It's like a beautiful pink light just filling my heart every time when I breathe. It is just absolutely beautiful. Every staff member here is just incredible. Everyone is willing to help. Everyone is there to give advice. Even the housekeepers,
right?
The people at the reception, like they're everyone is so in tune with their experience and with their miracles that you can feel it. You can feel that energy. The sense of community here is just incredible. Like I really don't want to leave. I just love this place so much, and I'm just so grateful for every single thing that I've went through, especially, and I have to mention this, beautiful ladies during the ceremony.
Yes.
They are the most incredible people I have ever come across. I was going through a lot, so there was a lot of times that I needed help, and I couldn't do it without them. They were there to support me, to hold me when I needed to be held,
Yeah.
to calm me down. It was, and I was also very, very blessed and privileged to receive several miracles from, or several blessings from the shamans, and that was just the most incredible experience.
Yeah.
And I'm just filled with gratitude.
I'm filled with gratitude too for both of you. It was such a pleasure this week spending time with you in class, and thank you guys for coming to class and showing up and being like, all
We
right.
couldn't miss your class. You are just amazing.
He's a good reason to come back.
Thank you.
Dwayne, Todd, and
Yeah.
just the classes were amazing. I know
And-
Ben today.
Yeah, and we're coming back in December. We're
Yeah.
planning already.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we're very excited.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you. I'm
Thank
filled
you
with
so much.
gratitude for your time, for you being
you.
here, and I'm super grateful for all the blessings that are yet to come in your
Thank you
life.
so much.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Let me get off here. Bye, everybody.